Hello. Today we will be able to find out how can I find out if I'm a dog person or a cat person. Now this is a very simple expression. Um, all you have to do, first of all, as you see, you're trying to find if I. So use the complex number I, which we all know is the square root of -1. So we have our I here. Now there's two expressions. There's if you're a dog person or a cat person. So this is very simple. You times it by 2 and divide it by 2. Now you might ask, why is this exactly necessary for the equation? It isn't. I just decided to do that. Anyway, this question actually kind of reminds me of pie. One time, let's go down here for this. One time, I was wondering, I wonder if I'm a blueberry pie person or a pumpkin pie person. So we'll go ahead and make those variables because we don't know yet. A blueberry pumpkin and a pie, pumpkin pie. So I was wondering, like, I don't know. So this is a very simple expression. If you take the quadratic formula, which is obviously y equals mx plus b, this actually makes it very simple. As we see, we have the b, which we already know is blueberry pie. And we have the y. You might ask, what's y, though? I mean, I don't... What kind of pie is y? And you see how it rhymes? It's cat in the hat pie. So, you might ask, how exactly are we gonna, simplify that? We're just gonna say cat in the hat, pie. And you might say, M, that's maple syrup, obviously. Maple syrup pie. That's my favorite kind of pie. Maple syrup pie. And then we have X, which is just we can just get rid of it since I don't like X. Anyway, so now we have this very now we have this very cool expression. We have cat in the hat pie equals maple syrup pie plus bee pie. So then we can kind of find out what bee pie equals. So bee pie equals it would be cat in the hat pie minus maple syrup pie. I forgot the fucking pie symbol. Minus maple syrup pie. Because you just subtract maple syrup pie on both sides. So now we actually know what bee pie equals. So, as you see, these two are not equal. You're one or the other. And as you see, when I said one or the other, this equation, bee pie either equals 1 or literally anything else. If it does equal 1, then this equals anything else. If a pumpkin pie equals 1, then bee pie is anything else. So we do know either pumpkin pie equals 1 or blueberry pie equals 1. So now we get to a little situation. All we now I got to do, as we see a ton of variables here. There's nothing we can divide except pi. We can divide pi. So let's do that. That would be blueberry equals cat in the hat minus maple syrup. Now, as you see, maple syrup, you don't really have to specify the maple, because when you're talking about syrup, usually that's how it works. And now we're getting somewhere. We really are. So now we just need to simplify this expression. So we can add s on both sides. Blueberry plus s equals CITH. And then you can divide by ITH. And what you get is, wait, what did I do here? Oh, yeah. B plus s equals c, and then divide the b plus s with by ith. And then now we have a b plus s. Wait, did I say bts? I don't know. B plus s equal b plus s divided by ith equals c. And then, as we know, inside of cat in the hat, c equals cat, which actually, me remembering this thing I found out the other day actually reminds me of the question we're trying to solve right now. So now we have a full expression, and we're doing absolutely amazing, and we're so close to find out if you are a dog person or a cat person. By the way, you're going to have to be doing this entire thing by yourself if you're watching this, if you want to figure out if you're a dog person or a cat person, because you can't just, you can't watch if I'm a cat person or a dog person. Like, what kind of question is that? Anyway. So obviously, let's go back to I. So we know that I is the square root of -1, and we know that either b pi or p pi is -1. Or no, it would be 1. Okay, so I lied. Actually, these are negative. Yeah. So actually, true. If one is 1, then the other one is -1. So either p pi equals -1 or b pi equals -1. So either the square root of p pi equals I, or b pi equals I. Now this obviously it matters what you say, but we did this expression, and we were figuring out blueberry. We know blueberry without the pi, plus this is something syrup. This is syrup. Blueberry plus syrup, ew, equals in the hat. So yes, we're getting somewhere. Um, we have p pi equals I. That meant to be 1. P pi. Oh, that didn't mean to me 1. Sorry, I'm tripping up on my own calculations here. Yeah, so now we're getting somewhere. We know that b plus s divided by ith equals cat. But the problem is, how exactly do we get to figuring out exactly how you're a dog person or a cat person? So now we're going to make a Punnett square. This is very simple. You're either a big dog person, a small dog person, a big cat person, or a small cat person. So obviously, you can't be both, because that's obviously not society standards. So you're either cat person or dog person. Can't be that either, because you can't be neither either. That doesn't make any sense. So you're either one of these. So, according to the Punnett triangle, if you draw a little triangle here and then divide it by 2, then you get a 50% chance. So, now we're actually getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. So, now we know b plus s divided by ith equals cat. And we know it's approximately a 50% chance on either. But you notice these circles here? You notice the circles? That means you can actually use the definition of a circle formula. So we're just going to write the definition of a circle formula here. It's very simple. I think it's 3. Yeah, that's it. So now we have a circle. And then we have the definition of a circle. So we put 3 inside of the circle, and that's probably the diameter. So to find out the radius of the circle, by the way, this is a circle, we do 3 divided by 2, which equals 1.5. That's the radius. So now, let me draw an actual decent circle so you guys can actually see my circle. Circle. Okay. So, we have the definition of a circle here. And we know that it's a 50-50% chance. So you might wonder, like, oh my god, wait. A circle? Like the circle thing? That's like pi. And we know b pi b equals cat. So now b pi equals a circle. So now we're getting somewhere. So now to figure out what the freak is happening, we know if you divide both sides by pi, if you divide a circle by pi, you get 0. We know this. So cat equals 0. Therefore, since I brought out this expression, obviously, since cat equals 0, then that means I must be a dog person. Now that's just how it works. Obviously, like, math just changes if you're not a dog person or a cat person, obviously. But yeah, so now I'm gonna show you, like, if I tried the dog thing. So if I tried the dog thing, we have a circle, right? We can still use the circle in here. We know that the circle has a 50% chance of working because you're either a dog person or a cat person. And we know the definition of a circle is 3, which means the radius equals 1.5. So now, this is very easy. You might also notice something about the word dog. Dog actually has a circle inside of it. And the radius is 1.5. So now, if you find the area of the circle inside of the dog, then you get pi 1.5 squared. 1.5 squared I'm just going to call n because I'm too lazy. Actually, instead, I don't want to use the variable n. I want to use specifically the variable p because I like p more. So now, that was wrong. What we see here is, if you invert it, because, that's, how it works. You get p pi, which is, pumpkin pie. And then, wait, no, I can't apply that. I can apply that, actually. I changed my mind. And then, actually, we're gonna use the beginning thing. We're gonna use the beginning thing, and we know, since p pi is pumpkin pie, then you can actually say b pi equals 0, which we already found out, which means this has to equal 1. So if you square root this, then we know the square root of a circle equals, it would be I. And then I am the square root of a circle. And then we know you can't do the square root of a circle, which means that I cannot equal the square root of the circle, which means that the square root of the circle is me, which means I am the square root of the circle, which means the square root of the circle is possible, which means the square root of the circle is I, and then I am the square root of the circle. Are you following? The square root of the circle is I. So now what you can do is you can say 2, using this formula, you can say 2 times the square root of a circle divided by 2, which you cancel this, which is the square root of a circle. And we know the area of a circle is the square root of a pumpkin pie. And then obviously, the difference between a square root and pi is nothing, so these cancel out, which means you're left with pumpkin. Pumpkin. I love pumpkin. And I love pumpkin. I really do love the taste of pumpkin, which means it's 1, which means I am a dog person. If you like pumpkin, then you're a dog person. It doesn't matter. If you like pumpkin, you're just a dog person. That's how this works. So yes, that is how you find that's how you find out if you're a dog person or a cat person using math. I appreciate for you guys for watching. If you want to recap, I'm gonna go ahead and say no, but I will if someone pays me money. So yeah, my Venmo is in the description. Just be sure to minimum's $50. Okay. Yep. Thanks. Okay. Bye.